In this video, we're going to talk about the world of emotions, how we can become attached to emotions, and our current societal shift from more of the masculine energy to more of the feminine energy to balance it out. I'll explain it all in this video. Sit tight. Welcome back to another video. My name is Jen Palco. We're going to talk about the emotions today, our attachment to emotions, how it affects our life, how it affects us from a Chinese 5-element perspective, how we can become imbalanced when we attach too much to an emotion. So when I say attached to an emotion, usually we have a predominant emotion in our life that comes out. So you might say for yourself, oh, I'm just an angry person, or I'm sad a lot, like I worry too much. These are not just random things. It could be that they're a reflection of your primary element in a 5-element perspective. So if you're not familiar with the 5 elements, I suggest you check out some of my other videos on it. I did a couple intro videos, but basically it's an ancient system, from ancient Taoist traditions, thousands of years old. And it's basically, we have a predominant element, 1 or 2 that are more predominant in our lives. So when I say element, we have 5 elements out of nature: fire, earth, metal, water, wood. 5 elements within us, our personalities. So it's almost like our personality type, I guess would be the simplest way to put it, but it goes a lot deeper than just personality. It connects to our organs and how we adapt to stress, things like that. But each element has an emotion that is associated with it. So if you look at the 5 elements here, I'll start with wood. Anger, okay, is the emotion associated with wood. So if you are prone to angry outbursts, or you feel like you're angry a lot, or you're shouting a lot, then you may have some sort of imbalance in the wood element. It may be an overaction, maybe an underaction, which could show up as kind of more of like a repressed anger, which can be depression. So there's a lot of different things, if you really look at an emotion, and we can become attached to our own emotions. We can identify with our emotions too much. We live in a society where, okay, if we want to fit ourselves into a box, right? So say we're feeling overly sad, okay? We're depressed, we're overly worried, we're anxious. Then right away, there's a clinical diagnosis, okay? Clinical diagnosis, anxiety, depression. Let's give you a pill for it, okay? Instead of exploring deeper. So in a way, we become our emotion. That's how we become attached to it. A lot of it's societal, okay, influence over us. Instead of us exploring why are we prone to so much anger? When I say joy, this can show up usually as like mania, so like bipolar disorder, right? Overly joyed, too much excitement, worry, anxiety, like I said, grief, sadness, depression, fear. Fear is a big one as well. Fear can tie into anxiety issues as well. So, the one emotion that, and it does technically have clinical diagnosis, but the one emotion that I feel is the most accepted, and you'll see this in society, is anger, okay? All these other guys, bipolar, anxiety, depression, OCD maybe, right? Worry, OCD, or anxiety, fit into some sort of box, some sort of label where they have a pill for it, okay? Anger, yes, there are disorders like, I forget what it's called, but it's where you have outbursts of anger and aggressiveness and stuff like that. But look at society and look at which of these emotions is most accepted. So this is kind of like 2 videos in one, talking about not only our attachment to emotions, but also from a societal perspective, what is more accepted as an emotion? And you'll see that anger is more accepted than being sad or having anxiety all the time. Those are not normal. Being angry can be normal. Unless you're going around killing people, then that's not normal. But being angry all the time is normal. Now, let me go back a couple steps here, all right? It is normal to feel all the emotions. We're human beings. We feel all of these emotions. But the issue where we become imbalanced is if we sit with an emotion too long. Or the opposite, we repress it. okay? So it's the overexpression or the underexpression. So if we feel angry and we don't express it, what do? We internalize it. It can lead to a depression and we keep pushing it down. If we feel really fearful, we don't do anything about it. It's just gonna kind of internalize, like the boiling pot of water, used with anger in particular. Then we sit with it. It starts wreaking havoc on us from the inside out, okay? So that is where you're gonna get an imbalance. We feel all the emotions, okay? If someone is chasing us with a gun, we're gonna feel scared. Probably. I would, right? If somebody cuts us off on the highway, we may feel angry, right? But the thing is, are we gonna sit with it? Are we gonna give our power to the emotion? Are we gonna give our power away to the emotion? Or are we gonna let it run through us, decrease the importance of it, and let it go? That's the key. You feel an emotion, more from the physiological effect, right? You observe what it's doing to your body, and then you release it. You don't hang on to it. So many of us hang on to anger because anger is accepted. Look right now, out in society, okay? Judgment, everybody's judging each other, everybody's fighting. You're getting vaccinated, you're not. Like, you're wearing a mask, you're stupid for wearing a mask, you should be, you shouldn't be, you should do this, you should do that. There's so much butting heads, and it's okay. Social media, it's okay to be angry online. Not everybody likes it, but they're not gonna lock you up. They're not gonna say, oh, you have a mental disorder because you're fighting online. Think about it. This is the reason right now and so things like wood and fire, they're more yang in nature, okay? Yang is this uplifting, expansive. Yang moves chi. It moves stuff in life. So a wood element is more about competition. They have a drive within them. So wood element types are competitive by nature. And it's a good thing. It gets stuff done, they're just, those types of people who are very driven. They set goals for themselves and they go towards it. They have a lot of energy behind them, right? Whereas somebody on the other spectrum, in earth, is slower paced, okay? They need to enjoy the sweets of life, of doing nothing, they're more slow moving. They're not all about, wood's all about time, right? Time. Got to get to my goals as fast as possible. Got to do this, go to that. It's all that energy. Where these elements are more yin in nature, okay? So they're going to be more about the feminine. This is more about the masculine. These are going to be more about the feminine. And what we're seeing right now in society is the masculine overtaking the feminine. But we're starting to see a shift. Because right now we're actually in a yin metal year in astrology, Chinese astrology. So you're going to see more of the feminine energy of like the metals and the waters starting to come back to balance out all this anger and all this wood. So last year was a very angry year, right? And we're still seeing the remnants of that. We're still experiencing the remnants of the angry masculine forces at bay. But now we're starting to see the shift. We're starting to see people move away from social media a little bit more. I've felt this. I'm sure you've felt this too, especially if you're more of like a spiritual person. You know yourself well. You're starting to feel like it's bothering you. There's something about it. All the anger, all of the yang energy. You can't take it. You can't take it right now, so you move away from it. You get a little more introspective with yourself. You can't watch the news as much as you did. It bothers you. That is because more of this is moving in, okay? Metal is about purification, it's about beauty. Water, okay? Even though out of balance, the emotion can be fear, it's about wisdom. We're seeing more wisdom come in. We're seeing more beauty, purification coming in, and less anger. I mean, you're still going to see anger. You're still going to see judgment, but you're going to feel a shift. You're going to feel a shift. So that is what I wanted to mention today, because I think it's important to pay attention to how The 5-element cycle is affecting your life right now, is affecting everybody as a collective unit, as a whole. So the more you can pay mind to which emotion you're sitting in primarily, maybe that element is a little out of balance for you, and you need to kind of look into how to balance all of the emotions out and not sit in one way too long, because that's going to be a detriment to you, right? And then look at the collective. Do you feel a shift moving in the direction of more of this feminine quality energy coming in to balance out all of this masculine stuff that we've had going on in the past year or two? So the point I wanted to make is that you are not your emotion. That's why I wanted to bring in society, because we think, I have a lot of fear, I'm sad, I worry, I overthink too much. Let me put myself in a box. Let me have somebody else, let me give my power away because I'm attached to an emotion. Let me give my power away, fit myself in a box, and I'm never going to release myself from this fear, from this sadness, from this anger. It's always going to be with me because now I identify with it in a certain way. That's the issue I have right now with being so quick to judge people who feel a certain way and sit in an emotion for a certain amount of time. It's like, time's up, okay? Here's a pill, you're not normal. We need to make you normal, we need to make you balanced. Well, this pill is an external source. This, looking deeper, is the internal source for lifelong change. So if you can stop yourself before it gets completely out of control. A lot of it is about waking up and being aware of how you're feeling in your body and recognizing what type of person you are, what element might be out of balance for you, and trying to balance it out. If you're interested in knowing more about the elements and balancing them out, I have a host of other videos you can check out. But this is the 5-element theory system from ancient Chinese medicine. There's 5 elements. Each one of us has 1 or 2 that are more dominant, even though we have all 5 elements within us, because we have all the emotions within us. Each of the elements is connected to an organ. We have all 5 organs within us. They can get out of balance when we don't express or we repress too long. The body can't handle it because it's stressed. It's like fight or flight. It's made to go short bursts because we're running away from a predator or something. So when your fight or flight is kicked on for a long period of time, you get burnt out, your adrenals get burnt out, your immune system gets burnt out. You have disease starting in your body. So that's the point I wanted to make today. So just something to be aware of today. And if you like this video, please let me know. I love doing them for you. And I try to make them as comprehensible as I can, introducing you to this type of system. It can get very complex, so I try to simplify it a little bit for you, kind of apply it to modern day and society and all that kind of fun stuff. But subscribe if you would. I put out new videos every single week, so check that out. I have a new book out, I have a podcast out, so all the links are going to be below. And I appreciate you watching to the end, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.